Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. Now, the internet is a powerful tool for information, communication, e-commerce, and has even created a safe space for some. But it has also made it easier for pornography to become rampant in this digital age. With no restrictions on many social media platforms, adult videos and indeed videos of children engaging in sexual acts have been circulated. Every image and video of child pornography posted online is heartbreakingly sustained by actual child sexual abuse offline, and some of the videos of abused children are traded online for obscenely lucrative profits. In Nigeria, sharing or receiving images depicting child pornography could attract a jail term of 14 years. So let's talk this through by speaking with counselor, cognitive behavior therapist, Wemimo Adebiyi, who is joining me in the studio. It's good to see you.
Good to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
We also have in the studio a parenting coach and child behavior consultant, Sandra Oluwadari. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start with you, Wemimo. We now live in a world that's more liberal than we can ever imagine that it will, it will have been. We see young childs who are now living like adults, who behave like adults, and things that they say, things that they do, they behave like, adults. How have you been monitoring these trends?
Okay, thank you very much. It has become a trend, and I would say that it's a function of the society. And talking about the children picking this behavior, it's environmental, okay, which begins from the family. So I want to say that it's just a litmus test we're seeing from the children coming from the kind of adults we have in the society, which stems from the family.
Makes sense. So let me take it to you, Sandra. What has been your observation so far as regards the way our younger boys and girls are behaving when it comes to issues like using the internet and things that are exclusively adults?
Okay, like Wemimo said, it's actually, it springs from somewhere. These children don't just come across all these things. Of course, once they are exposed to the online space, it's very possible they have pop-ups and all of that. But that's why we need to have some kind of ways to safeguard these children. Yeah. Because once they come across these things, most times they are not even addicted at first, but out of curiosity and out of the fact that they want to manage some kind of emotions, that they're currently experiencing, they discover that they just can't get away from these things. And I think I will place my finger on, online exposure. That's the major reason why we have all these challenges, because once children are restricted online, it's going to put a drastic, reduction to how much they are able to have access to these things. Right. Because accessibility and, curiosity are the major factors why these children engage in all this.
That's actually the word, curiosity, because, when we were given birth to, there's this thing they call tabula rasa, and we want to write so many things in that very clean slate. So that curiosity pushes them to doing things that are exclusively adults. Yes. So do we say that the kind of access they have to the internet, some, for instance, have large followers, just the case of this Christland, lady who's got large followers doing erotic dances and stuff like that. Whose duty is it to monitor these kids when it comes to the usage of internet and things that they are supposed to look out for? Is it the duty of the school or the parents? Okay,
so like we all know, charity begins at home, and the home is the first school of a child. Children come to us in clean slates, and they're like sponges. It's whatever we put into them that they actually manifest. So for a child that has been born into a home, I mean, if it was supposed to be that once a child comes into this world, the child matures into an adult. I'm sure children could have been born anywhere, but children are born into families so they can be raised, so they can be trained. So I think it should start from home, because this is the first point of contact these children have with the adults around them. So they should first put some structure in place, especially when it comes to media exposure. They should have strategies on how to manage the media consumption their children are exposed to. Because once they get it right, from the beginning, it's going to stick with the children. So even when they encounter these things, because you've laid some kind of foundation, they will be restricted.
Well, the world is a busy place. Everybody wants to put the food on the table. The parents, because they feel, if I don't work, how are these children going to go to school? How are they going to survive? So everyone appears to be very busy at the moment. Is that where the school now comes in? Because the school is also saying, well, with character and learning, that's how they should graduate.
Well, from the word go, the word has always been busy. And it's getting busier. And that's why I would say, going by what she said, every adult, because when we say parents, I think we're limiting it just to the biological, every adult. You have a child. You have a responsibility to oversee, to monitor, to supervise, to protect, and then to also lead by example. So when we talk about the, how the economic situation and everything, I say that things are not going to change for an individual. It's an individual who should read, the navigation of the time and look at how to change with the time. Because looking at the reality of our time, the time is not going to wait for anyone. So if we're going to say that, is it because of the economy people need to work, especially adults or parents? I say, if you know as an individual you are going to, you are actually going to have something to do with a child, then you should top up your game. And how do I put it? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So top up your game and make sure you are on ground to supervise, to cut down excesses that might lead the child on.
Let me take it from your mouth and put it in our mouth, because they said it takes a village to raise a child, and we know that it's very difficult for someone to rebuke or to correct another person's child, especially when you say, don't do that. And the mother will come at you, come at your throat. Why do you shout? Why do you back at my daughter or my son? Or why did you even spank, him or her? We see that a lot of parents are not tolerant when it comes to correcting their children. So whose blame is that?
Well, I think parents need to be more aware of the fact that the decline of this village that is supposed to raise a child is affecting how children are turning out today. Because, if we look at what happened, way back, we have children, like somebody tells you, you didn't greet me, I'm going to tell your mom. The child is already crying and all of that. But because of the fact that all of those things don't apply anymore. Like you said, parents they're not tolerant enough to have other people correct their child. It's really, and that's why some schools are not even able to step in to do what they're supposed to do, because some parents won't have that from anybody, but I would say generally that this awareness has to go on. Parents need to understand that. Like she said, and like you said, we are not always available because of the times we are in. So there needs to be a structure in place, even if you are not on ground as a parent or the adults guarding that child. There should be a structure in place. And for you, in fact, to successfully raise a child, you need to have a village. You need to have a trustworthy village, because you won't be there all the time. You need to go to work and all of that. So you need to have people. And if you are restricting people, let's say the nannies, for example, when they try to correct your child, you're like, no, don't hit my child and all of that. They would see your child putting his hands into fire and they're not going to say anything. So it begins from there. So if parents know that they are not 100% available, which is very, very hard to achieve these days, they need to trust, or raise a trustworthy village, because your village, you have to be sure of the integrity of everybody in that village.
Well, if you could remember, a video emerged of a woman whose daughter, was to attend as maybe an examination and all that. She wasn't allowed into the school because she was wearing, eyelashes, and the mother came causing lots of scenes, saying, why should you send back my daughter and all that. And that's what she's saying. She's also saying that, you need to have that kind of community, that kind of village where you have people who would help you to correct your child, but that is not the case.
You know, I'm still going to say that. What kind of adult are you? You know, I'm
adult as a mother.
Yes, as a mother, as a father. You know, when from my perspective, when I talk a parent or parenting, I believe it doesn't have to be my direct child. Okay, so my person influencing another child or another individual matters a whole lot. What kind of value do I believe? You know, do I culture my life around? Then what kind of belief system do I carry? So it's not about just about the principles, the rules, the authority. It comes down to my person. So for such instance that you just made reference to, the question still remains: what kind of parent, what kind of mother, what kind of woman, what kind of an individual is this person?
Okay, he's a good mother, he's a good father, he's a good everything that you can think about. But the issue of peer pressure, you also always want to settle. You get into school, you mix with different children from different backgrounds, and they want to tell you, you are not in vogue. See what is happening. This is the thing that when you pick your phone, you show either the guy or the lady, and he also wants to feel among. He doesn't want to feel like I'm the outcast here. So where should we begin to look at? What point, what signs should we begin to look at to know that peer pressure is affecting our kids?
We can't exonerate peer pressure. However, we need to understand that we have peer pressure at all age groups, and it's evolving depending on the time and the season we're living at. However, I still will bring it home. What do I stand for? Basically, because my values, my standard, my system will last. The pressure comes, with time. It comes with what is trending. It comes with, who exactly is trending. But whatever it is I stand for is what should keep me going.
So how do you react to this? Because it's very difficult. You've tried your best as a mother. But this is someone who's going to mix with different people from different, all sorts of backgrounds.
So I think, like she said, it all goes back to who the adult is. Because in the home, there should be something you're working towards. But the thing is, today we have a lot of people parenting with the flow. They go with the flow. There's no vision. There's no mission as a family. There's no goal. And for you to achieve as a parent, because parenting is a calling, it's a ministry. You lose your 100% privacy once you become a parent. And it's a destiny that has been committed to your hand. So you have to do it with all sense of duty. So now, if you want to go far as a family, you need to have a vision you're working with. And she talked about values. A lot of families, do we have family values today? Like, it's not about saying, oh, this is what I like to live by. Do the children know? Now, every family is supposed to have the family values. In fact, you can frame it, you can have it in a calendar form. Let your children know from when they are 2. They know that this is what we stand for. We are chaste, we are honest, we are truthful, we are kind people. Trust me, those things are sowing seeds into their foundation. They will not, when they go out there, even like she said, even when the pressure comes, even when you find some children, they go astray for some time, they come back.
That reminds me when, growing up, the Tales by Moonlight, they, sitting under the tree, sitting in the shade of the moon, and, giving us the fables, the folklores. But those things are not there any longer. We've got the internet now, where the children will go on Twitter, for instance, which is the most toxic environment. Apologies for those who are diehards of Twitter, where anything goes on Twitter, and it's got less and less of restrictions that as no matter your age, you can get on it and be exposed to all the dirty things. So when is it too much for us to allow our children to make use of, let me stay with you, devices like tabs and phones that have got internet facilities?
So I won't rule out the use of the internet, because the internet is a window to the world. So children do great stuff online, but I'll still stick with what I said earlier. It depends on the foundation you've laid. Now, going back to the home, it's not just about eating or jollying and all of that. It's a time to train. It's a time to guide. It's a time to put parental structure in place. Now, what do I mean by that? Before you give your child a device, I mean, you can't give a 2-year-old a car because you love the child. The child needs to be prepared. I mean, exposing a child to the internet, a child that has not been prepared, is like setting up that child for destruction. You know, so you can give your child a device. For me, when I'm ready to give my child a device, that will be when the child is 16, 18, because I'm talking about a smartphone. What, you can use my phone. There's a central phone, or any other device, you know, can be in common areas of the home. But say I give you a smartphone and I've not taught you, I've not prepared you. Now, if a child stumbles on pornography, does the child know what to do? Does the child know that, okay, I need to shut down this device, I need to try to redirect my thoughts, I need to talk to an adult? Does the child, have you taught the child how to cope when they stumble on such things? You know, so children are not prepared. The internet itself is not bad. But the thing is, we are giving unprepared children. Do parents know about a cell phone contract? Before you give your child a cell phone, they have to sign a contract. Do they know the things that obtain? You know, so it's all
so many things. You know.
Yes, yes. That's why we have the parenting restrictions and all of that. Some computers are just there, no free access. All the apps are downloadable and all of that. You know, these are areas we can check.
Yeah. So do you think it would be too much for you to allow your kid to be exposed to the internet, using smartphones, because there are so many things that you learn online today. You know, you need the internet to get it onto YouTube. You need the internet to learn some basic mathematics and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I'll still go to ride on her thoughts. Yeah, really, you can't remove the internet from your child, because, like you have rightly said, that's where, you know, they're patterning their lives around, especially when it comes to their education and all of that. However, before you hand it over, just as she has mentioned, and I'm still going to bring it back, okay? What do you do on the internet as a parent? Your child, okay, even when I am not going to give you access to a smartphone, and I'm giving you access to my phone, what am I doing on the phone? There are lots of kids today, 6, 5, 4. You hand them your phone, they unlock it and they exploit. In
fact, they are smarter
and
than the smartphone.
They tell you what you, the owner of the phone, is not aware of it, that you're carrying. So you need to also be very careful. What kind of images, you know, videos, what do you download?
Censor yourself first.
Exactly.
Okay, because of our time, we're racing against time, and I want you to give your final thought on it, because if there's any lessons to be learned from the leaked video of this Chrisland, you know, boys and girls, what are these lessons for you and for parents who are watching?
Okay, I'll say that the lesson is this could happen to anybody, because from the obvious, the way things are playing out, it's obvious the parent is not aware of the capability of the child. Okay, so don't underestimate what your child is capable of doing. And before it gets to that point where you become, you know, hit by your child's action, you need to prepare the ground. You need to, you know, tutor your child and get your child ready for the internet world. All
right, your final thought, Sandra?
Well, I'll take it back to the home. I would say I would like to encourage parents to nurture the connection they have with their children. Because for children to come out and be open with their parents, you know, the communication lines in the home need to be constantly open. They need to be comfortable enough to always come and say, okay, I stumbled on this thing, what do you think? You know, so, and it's all about connection. Once the connection is not there, your children are not going to talk to you. So I'm encouraging parents to work on their bond with their children. It all begins from that's the bedrock. A child that shares deep connection with the parents will definitely carry the parents along.
Thank you very kindly. I enjoyed the conversation, because this is very, very important, and it has to do with what tomorrow holds for us, you know, the young and coming generation. Counselor, cognitive behavior therapist, Webima DB, thank you very kindly.
Thank you for having me.
And also parenting and coach child behavior consultant Sandra Oluwadare. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.